right. Good afternoon one more time.
Good afternoon.
Um, so we're here to do the closing for the conference. We're going to close out here in this room and then invite you over to Tico Hall for the reception, where once again West Coast Black Theater Troupe will be performing. Before we do that, Africana Studies and the Institute on Black Life have had for many years set aside money for graduate students researching HIV and AIDS in Africa and the African diaspora. This year, thanks to generous support, we've been able to add a bit more money to that pot and are issuing the final Africana Studies and IBL HIV AIDS research grants to 3 very inspiring graduate students. We wanted to introduce them to the IBL community and celebrate them. So, without further delay, we're going to play a shorter version of the video introducing them to the community, and we're going to post the full interviews online at the IBL YouTube page and on IBL's Instagram, which is USF Institute on Black Life on Instagram. So, Patina?
Okay, my name is Samuel Ilori. I'm a first year MA student in Sociology department in USF.
My name is Karah Green, and I am a second year Ph.D. student in the School of Social Work.
Hello, my name is Santiago Hernandez, Bojore. I'm a Ph.D. candidate at the College of Public Health, University of South Florida, and I'm currently working on my dissertation proposal at defense.
My interest in social problem began when I was so young, maybe in my basic school, when I lost my mom to a kind of a maternal health issue or something like that, and it kind of gave me a kind of tough time during my lifetime. Like while I was trying to go into the high school, I was thinking about, because they told me that it's about one right and rituals in my hometown then. And it's kind of like, what is right and ritual? Because I was so young to understand what they are saying then. I was like, what is that? But I couldn't find an answer throughout my high school. And when I was trying to apply for my university level to go into my undergrad, I was looking for a course that I can do that can really give me an answer to what I've been seeking for during my high school. And I found out that there's a course called Sociology, and it talks about it talks about society, it talks about social problem. I was like, I think this is what I'm looking for. And that's the reason why I went into Sociology as a discipline.
So I started working on Afro-Latinos and HIV, COVID-19, and other infectious diseases during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm part of a research group called the Salud Latina Initiative, which is a research group that started during the COVID-19 pandemic to tackle the challenges that the Latino, Latinx, LGBTQ community, Afro-Latinos, and others were facing during the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of the projects was to study the epidemiology and the clinical outcomes in Santo Tomas Hospital, which is the main research public hospital and reference center for the entire country. So we are currently studying the clinical, laboratory, and outcome features of over 1,500 patients. Most of these patients are trigueños or trigueñas. This means that they are Afro descendants. So most of the Panamanian population that attend this hospital are Afro-Latinos. And with this study, we will be able to determine whether the risk factors for death and the main predictors for mortality in this subpopulation.
So Dr. Marhefka in Mental Health Law and Policy talked with me last year. She knew I was interested in HIV research, and she was working on a study to help people living with HIV quit smoking. And what she found so far is that people were using smoking to cope with unresolved trauma. And so she wanted to identify an intervention that would be effective in resolving trauma in this population to help them with quitting smoking and other more positive health behaviors. So through my connections with her, I then found out about the IBL grant or award, and I knew that I I myself am interested in improving the quality of life of people living with HIV. So we decided, why not interview Black people living with HIV about their trauma experiences, about living with HIV, being Black, any stigma they've experienced, racial trauma, and how that's impacted their HIV care.
I want to look at the social effect of that, which talks about the social stigma. Like in African society, when a teenager gets pregnant, it's like the career of the teenager have ended. So I really want to go into that and really want to study that particular thing, and that's why I'm looking at the social and health consequences of teenage sexual behavior in Lagos State.
One, especially here in Florida, there's a huge disparity of HIV between people who are Black and people of other racial groups. And so one thing that I want to do with this project, but also in my future career as a researcher, is work with groups who have historically been mistreated or have had been part of unethical research, may have mistrust in research community, medical community, those who really need to have their voices amplified by people in a more privileged position. But also, I want to center Black voices. I think that's really important, especially as we're learning more about disparities and that have been long-standing.
Hopefully, my research will help the Panamanian Ministry of Health to create guidelines for the management and treatment of COVID-19 in this country. Each population is different. The US population is different from the Panamanian population. So the management varies from person to person, culturally and socially. The approaches are different. So hopefully this study will help the health authorities, the Ministry of Health, to target those issues within the Panamanian population.
If you're interested in research, find someone who will take you on, faculty, mentor, anything, who's already involved in research, and ask until you get an in. Because I had to ask a few different people, and finally someone took a chance and was like, I know you don't have any experience, but you seem eager, and that made all the difference for me.
I think if we have a kind of opportunity, and if we from Africa like this, who are interested in conducting social research, if we have been given the opportunity to be able to maybe be supported, because to conduct a research in Africa is not kind of easy task. So if we can be able to give a kind of opportunity for researchers from Africa to go into their home country and to resolve problems, it will be a very big opportunity for us. Thank you very much.
Bueno, quisiera recomendarles que sigan adelante, siempre trabajen duro, con esfuerzo, todo se puede, sigan sus sueños y siempre van a encontrar personas o equipos de investigación o de trabajo que los van a querer apoyar. Entonces nunca se den por vencidos y todo se puede. Así que sigan adelante y focus. I am a Latino international student from one of the poorest countries in the hemisphere. So if I could have done this, I'm pretty sure you can do it. So keep on going, work hard, never give up, follow your dreams. And there will always be people in your home country or wherever you are that want to help. So keep at it and go Bulls.
Thank you. So those are the 3 recipients. And we'd like to invite them up here. If I can have Rebecca and Dr. Tyson join me to hand out the certificates. Our first recipient is Samuel Ilori, who you saw in the video, graduate student in the Department of Sociology. Samuel. Our second recipient is Karah Green, doctoral candidate in the College of Behavioral and Community Sciences. And lastly, Santiago Hernandez Bojore, doctoral candidate in the College of Public Health. And again, if you would like to support this kind of research and work, you can visit us at IBL, the IBL website, usf.edu/IBL. And Dr. Tyson will offer some closing remarks and some instructions on how to get to the reception.
All right, fantastic. Okay. This has been great, hasn't it? Yeah. So when we came up with the theme of Black Joy, it was back early in the semester. And you never know what the reception is going to be to your ideas. You just put them out there, right? And when we announced it, the reaction was immediate, and it was positive and joyous. And it was an example of how joy begets joy. When you put joy out there, you often get it back. Not always, but you often get it back. And through the process of working on this conference, it has been so wonderful to continue to get that positive feedback. My area of research is, I'm a sociologist. I study sociology of education. I study, who goes into, science, technology, engineering, mathematics fields. But I started thinking about the topic of Black joy back in like 2023 when I was considering doing research. I'm just gonna take this out. When I was considering doing research on the Melanin Coaster Network, and it's a organization that uplifts Black roller coaster enthusiasts. I'm a member. I've attended a few events. I love riding roller coasters. It brings me joy. It's from that group that I learned the term coaster therapy. And we all have different ways of discovering and investigating and understanding what brings us joy. And so to be here today for this conference and see the different representations of Black joy in art, in performance, in research, that brings me joy. I love being an educator because I love seeing smart people do smart things. And I love being at USF because there's a never-ending supply of folks like that. So I'm grateful to you all for the work that you do and for agreeing to showcase your work in this forum. My only regret about the conference is when we sang Lift Every Voice and Sing, we stopped at the first verse. Because I love the second verse as well. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers died. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out of the gloomy past, till we now stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. Now, I sing that because there will always be people who will try to dim our brightest stars. And we have to remember that as we seek to maintain our joy in difficult times. Now, I want to end with a quick story from the world of sports. I'm a big sports fan. I like to play sports, and sports is generally guarded to be a meritocracy, and you can quibble about that, whether it is or not, but you keep score. There are rules. There's winners and losers, unlike most areas of life. Back in 2003, ESPN hired conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh to be an NFL commentator for one of their studio shows. And, you know, like media organizations try to do, they were trying to ride the wave of politics and try to ride the wave of post 9/11 conservatism. Early in the season, he chose to comment on Eagles quarterback Donovan McNabb, one of the few black quarterbacks in the league at that time, who had struggled in a few early season losses. Now, Rush Limbaugh said, "I think what we have had here is a little social concern in the NFL. The media has been very desirous that a black quarterback do well. There's a little hope invested in McNabb, and he got a lot of credit for the performance of this team that he did not deserve. The defense carried this team." Now, in the language of 2024, 2025, he claimed that a 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback was a DEI hire. The backlash was so harsh that Rush Limbaugh tendered his resignation a few days later. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles have a 40-year legacy of black quarterbacks, one of the few NFL franchises that can say they have a legacy of black quarterbacks. Some of y'all might remember Randall Cunningham back in the 80s, Rodney Peete, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, and now Jalen Hurts, who is one of 2 black quarterbacks who are in the Super Bowl on Sunday. When I was a kid, Doug Williams was the first black quarterback to play in the Super Bowl. Now we got 2 of them, and a third had the chance to play for the Super Bowl. And those are 3 of the 15 black starting quarterbacks out of the 32 NFL teams to start week 1 this season. Now, I say all that because, again, there will always be those who seek to dim our brightest stars and the brightness within us. And what has changed in that period of time? Now, you can make an argument that, the NFL has gone from preferring drop back quarterbacks to mobile quarterbacks. And But the most important thing to happen is more brothers just got a chance. And that continues to be all that we ask for. We all just ask for an opportunity to be the brightest stars that we can in this world, to take the joy that is within us, the joy that we have within our communities, the joy that we share with each other, and make the world a little bit brighter. And so in the tough times that we face today, I ask you, don't give them the satisfaction of dimming your star. Be who you are. Be the brightest star that you can be. Do what you can to make the world a better place. And if there's something that you see that needs to be done and you don't think you're the one to do it, find someone who can, because there will be someone to do it. So it's a little call that I give you here at the end of the day. We all have a lot of work to do, both in our personal, academic, professional, social lives, but keep doing the work and keep your joy. Thank you. So we will be finishing up our day with a reception at Tico.